And now back to TSPN News with Tom Slavik. He's the president of Amador Water Agency, and we're talking about AB 142. Now, there's going to be a hearing?
On Monday by the Assembly Natural Resources Committee down in Sacramento on consideration of this Assembly Bill 142 by Frank Bigelow, which essentially is kind of an EIR or environmental impact type study of what a Mokelumne Wild and Scenic designation might do to our water.
Okay. Now, this is the bill, what will they be talking about? Do we already have an idea of how is this going to be posed?
Well, that would be a presentation by Assemblyman Bigelow, and his co-sponsor is our Senator Tom Berryhill.
Okay.
They'll give a little presentation on what it's about, and what the proposal and why it's needed, and then there'll be an opportunity for the testimony by probably the pro side, and they only give you 3 minutes, and then the opposed side will give an opportunity to say why it shouldn't be done, and then they'll ask for head count of numbers of pro and con. So people will have an opportunity to just walk up, introduce where they're from and whether they support or not. And usually those are representatives of various government agencies or private groups.
Okay, you were with Calaveras' board. Is Calaveras sending some people to the board?
We're actually this afternoon getting organized.
Okay.
My understanding is there will be a group going down from Calaveras County, and you referenced the Calaveras board voted on Wednesday to reverse their position on Mokelumne Wild and Scenic that they took last year. They're saying that they want a study, they want the facts, they're concerned about impacts on our water supplies, so that we get those facts established before we go forward. And our agency, again, Amador Water Agency, along with there's 7 total water agencies on both sides of the river, Calaveras and Amador, 5 cities in Amador County, and the 2 county governments, Board of Supervisors, are all in favor and supporting this AB 142.
Has there been any changes with people that were basically, I would say, might have been opposing it, like maybe East Bay? How did they weigh in on the last bill?
East Bay last bill was Senate Bill 1199. That was last year.
Right.
That was a gut and amend, sneak it through kind of a approach there by a Democratic senator in the Bay Area. They initially
represented Oakland, that
Oakland
gets the water from
Oakland. A lot of the customers there, 1.3 million customers. They talk about Oakland, Walnut Creek area. And I just lost my train of thought.
Okay, I was asking, did they have a change of...
East Bay MUD, that's East Bay Municipal Utility District, did vote initially last year on SB 1199 to oppose unless it was amended.
Okay.
And then some amendments were made. The senator did not discuss them with the water agencies upcountry, then announced that the amendments satisfied all the water agencies' issues and concerns, which was not correct. At that point late in the summer, East Bay MUD reversed. They voted to support, but they wanted a continued dialogue with stakeholders and potentially making additional amendments that would protect our water needs and our issues.
So they've been at the table in these some of the discussions that have been going on recently?
Well, they voted last week. They had a board meeting, and they voted, the election changed the makeup of their board, and now they're coming out pretty strong, wanting a Wild and Scenic designation this year, period, no study.
Okay, so we had Calaveras through the election change to go, would like the study, and we had it down in Oakland. Does Oakland seem to, in your words, or would you say Oakland is looking for that water? They think the Wild and Scenic will help make sure that they continue that delivery that they have?
Well, yes. Actually, East Bay Mud has just informed us that there's not enough water. Amador County has a water right to about 4,000 acre-feet. They're saying that there's not that much this year because of the drought. Normally it's taken out of Pardee Reservoir and served in the lower part of the county through Jackson Valley Irrigation District. They're saying, no, you can't have your 38, 50 acre-feet.
So are they the arbiter of how many feet that we?
Well, this is kind of an interesting question. Last year, East Bay didn't do that. The state stepped in and they issued this curtailment order for junior water rights. In this case, East Bay Mud has kind of like come out and done this before the state has acted. So we're still studying to find out what's behind this, and I've asked for their staff report to have a further explanation, but it just goes even a step further, showing that East Bay is worried about getting their water. They like Mokelumne Wild and Scenic. Why? Well, there could be no holding back the water. It just goes right down into their reservoir, so that's a positive thing for them. Their staff actually last year in writing said that Wild and Scenic, that SB 1199 would help East Bay and it would hurt Amador and Calaveras counties.
Okay. Well, one thing we talked a little bit about, like, I kayak. I really don't river kayak. I'm way too old to hit the rocks and stuff like that, I think. But I enjoy it and I like it. And however, I believe when they have flows, they will wind up having flows for kayakers.
That's correct. In 2001, when the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission issued the renewed license for PG&E, who owns the upstream reservoirs here, they require them to release water for kayakers and also pulse flows that kind of help flush the gravels, the silt out of the gravels, as well as the minimum fish flows. And those were all based on kind of like a wetter climate. And now we're into this 4-year drought, which was I don't think was anticipated. So the PG&E's license requires them to release last year during our 3rd year of drought 4 times the amount of water that Amador Water Agency customers use.
When they drop that water, Rich, where does that water come out of? Does it come from? Does it pull Bear River Reservoir down?
Bear and Salt Springs, I think, are the 2 main sources, basically the upstream reservoirs. And yes, there are some water rights downstream. That water needs to be released, a minimum amount, but we're actually doing an analysis right now some people boaters have said, oh yeah, you have to release this water anyway. It's not just for the boaters. Well, we've never seen any proof of that, so we're going through to figure out whether maybe more water should be held upstream and not so much released.
It would seem the more that we could keep in the picture, so to speak, the better off we would be. Whatever we can save, we have to save it somewhere, and you can only save that behind dams and in reservoirs, can't you?
Yes, yeah, the reservoirs are our main backup of our water rights because, like in San Andreas, last October, they got a letter that said because you don't have a reliable water supply backing up, they were taking water out of the South Fork of the Mokelumne, and then when the state curtailed junior water rights, they basically almost didn't have any water. So if we don't have, you can have a water right that if you don't have stored water to back it up,
It would seem like possibly this bill and going through the EIR would help nail a lot of these questions or these gray areas and these foggy ideas down some. Do you think it would shed some clarity on where everything stands?
Yeah, I really do. I think we need to have some basic facts that everyone can agree with, and that I think will provide a foundation to move forward. And with considerations of designation of the Mokelumne as a wild and scenic, and those baseline facts or findings of fact can, I think, help with a broadly supported a proposal that could come after the study.
Okay, we have a minute left. There's going to be a meeting at the Capitol, and that's going to be on Monday. Do you happen to know the time?
I think it's 1:30.
Okay.
People can check on the website for the legislature under the Assembly Natural Resources Committee.
Okay, and that's room 400 some room, and so
think it's
that's
the
going to be on the probably on the fourth floor. Do they have someone down there with information? If you get in the
Sure.
foyer, you could say, "Hey, we're here to."
Yeah, you go through and you want to get to the Assembly Natural Resources Committee room, and I'm sure the people will help get you there. Or check the website for the legislature and the schedule for the Assembly Natural Resource Committee.
Okay, so you would like to have people go down that?
Absolutely, yeah. We need people, if they're worried about, you want to help support us with getting the facts before we go jump into something that we may have, there may be unintended consequences on our water that we might not like later on.
Right, we might, I guess I would like to say here, we might think we have, enough water and everything's fine if we nail it all down, which, and keep it in place, which sounds like the Wild and Scenic might do. However, this might not be enough water, and we might not be planning as wisely for the use of this water, and we might not want to tie it up. I would, people might think about that.
In my opinion, I think what our water agency, or at least in my desire, is to have that future option where we might be considering raising an existing dam. There's like 6 or 7 of them up country above where the Wild and Scenic stretch would be, and some tributaries.
It almost sounds like if you had one and it was all ready to go except for some money, the governor might have some money to hand you today. But I don't think we have that. We're talking about this project, Wild and Scenic, and specifically AB Bill 142. And I'm Tom Slavic with Richard Farrington here, and we thank you for watching. Hope we shed some light on the subject.